Okay, Scott Talley here with Network in Action. We've got Miss Donna Torres, bookkeeper deluxe from Greater Heights Business Solutions. Good morning, Donna.
Good morning.
How are you?
Wonderful.
Good. We're going to talk a little bit this morning. I know you've been going crazy. A lot of businesses are shut down and not able to operate, and your business is somewhat the opposite. So what are some of the services and functions you've been providing for your companies, your customers?
Right now, it's still pretty much just business as usual for most of my clients. Not a lot of my clients need any help with, they don't really qualify for the Paycheck Protection Program. Some of them can look into the independent contractor stuff that opened a couple days ago. But the few that have applied for the Paycheck Protection Program have not yet heard back from the banks. They've submitted their applications and they're still waiting for them to get through the process. As far as helping them, their books, if they were already my client, they were already up to date. So all the information they needed as far as financial statements and all that were good to go. There will also be work on the back end after they get their loans. You have to track the money and make sure that at least 75% is spent on payroll for it to be forgiven, and then also track that the other was spent on rent, utilities, and things like that that are approved uses, so that you aren't breaking the rules of the loan, and whatever, as much that can be forgiven is forgiven.
That's right. So you've got sort of a role on both sides of this. I saw that little unintentional plug, but you're right. If your customers have been working with you, they didn't have to race to you to try to get all their books up to date. So I was very blessed as a customer. I knew that when I got ready to apply for my stuff, I had all my backup and all my data ready, and that was a real blessing. So, but I didn't think about that. On the other side of this, having good books is going to be super important, because the government's going to come back and say, okay, where'd our money go? And if you're able to show where it went, right?
Yeah,
So again, it's 75%.
I'm sorry, you're kind of cutting out.
75% of what you were funded, if you can show that that went to the appropriate place.
Yes, I believe it's 75% has to be spent on payroll. Yeah. And then the other 25% can be spent on rent, utilities, and I forget what the other approved uses are.
I think leases, if I'm not mistaken. It was interesting. I just got an email this morning. The first time I've heard ever about how they're determining who gets what portion of the $10,000 grant. And I don't know the source, so I'm trying to track down the source, but I got a nice professional looking email, which doesn't mean anything, that said basically they're going to base it on $1,000 per employee. So that's the first time I've heard any criteria of, they said you would get up to 10. So I'll forward that email on to you. What do you see for businesses really, and maybe it's not any different, but on the other side of this COVID-19, other than having to be able to track your deal, what do you see the opportunity for your business and for other businesses?
Just for bookkeeping in general, or after COVID-19, or?
Yeah, either one you have an opinion on.
Well, I mean, I think maybe this is kind of a kick in the pants for people who don't necessarily think they need to keep up with their finances, and they just think end of year tax compliance is good enough. Maybe, but cases like this, when you need good financials immediately, it would have been nice to have those already ready, and you're not scrambling and having to pay probably premium to get the data and your financials recreated in a quicker fashion to be able to apply for these loans. Yeah. So maybe people will be more organized and have things properly recorded, and really just to know how your business is doing. I think some business owners, they don't realize that what they can get from their financials, like how they can use that information to tell them things about their business and maybe make different decisions and grow their business, instead of just running business and then kind of at the end of the year you take everything and give it to your tax person, and then you never really even put the data together to know for yourself what your financial health is and how your business is doing. So It's a good
Yeah, I totally
opportunity.
agree. It's sort of ludicrous, and I've done it. I'm personally guilty. I've told Don on more than one occasion that finances and are not the strength of my gifts when running a business. But I can tell you, in the years past, when I ran businesses, just by the seat of my pants, you think about it, a pilot wouldn't get in an airplane and take off without a flight plan and knowing everything's checked out. But not knowing your financial, you're right. There's a lot of information in there about, maybe you need to raise your prices, maybe you need to reduce your costs, maybe you need to look at staff, you need to look at the percent you spend on marketing. There's so much data in there that can help you run a business. And if you have the data, most people are smart enough to effectively use it. Let me ask you sort of an offbeat question. This comes up a lot in our crowd coaching, our coaching of smaller entrepreneurial type businesses. What's the best way for a company to manage their cash flow, to look at it and see their cash flow? Do you have any tips on that?
Um, I mean, you really need to have a good system. You need to have, I think, um, an accounting system like QuickBooks or something like that. In QuickBooks, you can pull a cash flow statement and you can look at it that way. But if you're just kind of checking your bank account every day, you may not know about the bills that are coming due and all of that. So you kind of have to have it all pulled together in one place to really be able to manage it effectively. If you're just relying on, oh, every day I'm going to check my bank account, make sure I have money in there, well, you may have forgotten about those 3 checks that you wrote last week that haven't yet cleared the bank. So having all the data in your accounting software makes it a lot easier to analyze your cash flow and see what your needs are for the future.
And QuickBooks is the king daddy of all the software. Is there other ones out there that small businesses use that you see, or is QuickBooks pretty
Yes,
much it?
there are others. QuickBooks, I think just they're the biggest, not necessarily because they're the best, it's because the marketing, they've
Yeah.
marketed the best. So most small business owners know about them and that's who they start with. And honestly, once you start with someone, it's hard to move. But yes, there are others, Zero, Sage, Peachtree, which I've never used Peachtree. I don't
Oh my
know
gosh, I
much.
haven't used Peachtree in 25 years, but that name rings a bell.
Actually, it may not even be a software anymore. I don't know. I've just heard the name.
Yeah,
But some of the big ones is becoming more marketing on that one I've seen. So, but I still use only QuickBooks Online just because I want to streamline my business and I only want to take clients using that platform so that I don't have to
yeah,
learn a whole new system.
makes good sense.
Eventually, if I want to move to a new system, I may take all my clients and take them with me. And if they choose not to go, then that would be a way to separate from them and then move on with new clients to a new system. But as of now, I don't see any reason to do that. QuickBooks works fine for me and my clients.
Yeah, you had a little nugget of gold in there that a lot of small businesses think that, now might be the time to cut marketing. But when you look at companies like QuickBooks, when you say they're not necessarily the best, but they have the biggest marketing budget and they're the big giant. I think of Patron Tequila. They spend $1 billion a year on advertising. There is no way in heck they have the best tequila, but they sell more of it than anybody. So
I love Patron.
a lot to be said for marketing. So, you still taking new clients, and if so, how would our listening audience reach you?
I am definitely still taking new clients as long as it's a good fit. Their business with my services, they can reach out to me through my website, greaterheightsbusinesssolutions.com, or call me. And I don't know my work number off the top of my head, but my website is a good way, or donna@heightsbs.com is my email address. So.
Okay, so great stuff. Thank you for taking some time this morning. Take care of that husband and those babies and keep everybody well, and you stay safe and healthy. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.